Good evening, folks. I meant to make this video 2 nights ago, but unfortunately I'd picked up a bit of a virus and my voice was a bit horrible. It's still a bit croaky now, but it's a hell of a lot better than it was. And now the fight I'm talking about was the fight from Osaka, Japan, on Tuesday. It was early hours of Tuesday morning in America. Here in the UK, it was Tuesday afternoon. The wonderful fight between Kenshiro Teraji, who is the WBA and WBC Light-Flyweight champion, and his opponent Carlos Canizales from Venezuela, former champion. Already, this is the fight of the year. I know we're only in January. This is fight of the year. What a fantastic fucking fight. Both guys showed guts, determination, and true grit in that fight. Very, very impressed. That fight is going to take some beating to get to lose the fight of the year tag. Wonderful fight. I scored the fight 114-112 to Teraji. Very close fight. It was a majority decision win to Teraji. One of the judges had it a draw, which, yeah, fair enough. And the other 2 judges had it exactly the same as me, 114-112. Now, what made this fight so special, from the opening bell, Canizales, in the first round, bombed forward. He was whipping some nice punches to the body. He'd obviously realised, look, I'm away from home, I'm in Japan, Teraji's the hometown boy, I've got to put it on him early. And he did. Second round, more of the same. And then until Teraji caught Canizales with a massive right hand, landed on the top of the head. It just scrambled Canizales' senses. He went down, and in a kind of bizarre rugby tackle-like move, as he was falling, and he managed to wrap his arms around Teraji's legs and take him with him. So that was a bit of a bizarre sight to see, and obviously, so that round went to Teraji. Following round, more back and forth, and I think it was quite late in the round, the third. Canizales caught the champion with a massive right hand that it was more of a flash knockdown. Teraji sort of dipped at the knees and touched, so it was a knockdown, and he was hurt. He was quite stunned by that one. So I gave that one to Canizales, obviously, 10-8 round. So, but really, between sort of rounds 4 and 9, really, I had pretty much Teraji in control. He was using the right hand. The right hand was his best weapon, and he was landing it at will at times. And I mean, Canizales was in the fight. Don't get me wrong. He was landing some fantastic combinations to the body. And he was really, you'd see him being dominated a little bit by Teraji, and then towards the end of the round, in a few rounds, he tried to steal him late. It was quite smart tactics, really. Late in the round, last 30-40 seconds of the round, Canizales would back him against the ropes, and he'd let go with hooks and uppercuts and everything. And although, I would score a lot of those rounds to Teraji because he dominated most of the action, you can kind of see why a lot of people would score it to Canizales. Because, if you're just, the last thing you remember in that round is that little burst of action from Canizales. So, quite a smart way of fighting, but I was giving those rounds to Kenshiro Teraji purely because he was dominating most of the fight. He was catching uppercuts on the inside. He was whipping some wicked body shots in. And like I say, that straight right hand to the head, he couldn't miss with. I think it was in round 5. Teraji landed quite a nice body shot. And it visibly hurt Canizales. He backed away, he winced. You could see he was in a lot of discomfort. And about that point in the fight, I thought, I think Teraji's going to take him out any minute now. Just give it time. But no, he kept fighting back. He kept fighting. Real true warrior, such grit and determination. And it was quite curious, because after about the 9th round, I had Teraji ahead, and the last 3 rounds, 10, 11 and 12, I felt that Teraji sort of switched off a little bit. Maybe it was the old Oscar De La Hoya Trinidad mentality. Maybe he thought he'd done enough to win, and he kind of went on the back foot a little bit. And in the 11th, I noticed he stopped throwing his right hand. He was relying on the jab more, and Canizales was just swarming all over him. He was landing combinations of the hooks to the body, to the head. He was really pushing for it. He was going for it. And I wondered if Teraji had perhaps injured his right hand, but there was no indication of that after that. He was throwing it, in the 12th, but just for a few moments in the 11th, I thought, he's hurt his hand. This is why he's kind of backpedaling a little bit. So obviously, the last 3 rounds I gave to Canizales purely because of the lack of action from Teraji. He obviously seemed to think he'd done enough to win, and he had, to be fair. So wonderful fight. Like I say, very, very close. The 2 knockdowns, and Kenshiro's sort of backing away, or running. Some people would say running. It's funny because I saw quite a few comments on Instagram and on YouTube videos afterwards screaming robbery. Look, we have this every time there's a close fight, people. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Like, say, one of the judges had it a draw. I had it only 2 points to Teraji. So there's nothing to say that a couple of those middle rounds with the late surge by Canizales, if a couple of judges or whoever had given those rounds to Canizales, could have had another decision. So I wouldn't have been angry if Canizales had got a close decision victory. Because some of those rounds, depends what you're looking for. The last 30 seconds sometimes. He'd lose most of the round because Kenshiro was outlanding him to the head and body with the uppercuts and the straight right hands. And then the last sort of 30 seconds, that's what you remember. And this is how Sugar Ray Leonard beat Marvin Hagler years ago. He was using the flashy stuff, and he was throwing little flurries right at the end of the round, because that's the last thing the judge sees, is that little bit of the round. So, I'd like to see the rematch. I think the rematch deserves it. I hate immediate rematches for no reason. I really do. I've always said that. It's pointless. No, this one deserves a rematch. Canizales, he really, really came to fight. It was a shame. It was one of those fights. It was a shame somebody had to lose. Really, very, very impressive performance from both men. Can't say enough good things about it. It's fight of the year so far. We're only at the end of January. Brilliant fight. If you've not seen it, check it out. Honestly, what a fight. Right, folks, that's enough out of me. I will speak to you again this weekend. We got Jaime Munguia against John Ryder this weekend. I'm looking forward to that one. I would favour Munguia in that one, obviously. But John Ryder's a tough motherfucker, man. So he's not gonna. He gave Canelo problems last year when most of us, including myself, thought that Canelo would walk through him, and he gave Canelo a hard fight. So I'm expecting him to lose, but I'm expecting him to perform well and give Munguia some questions to answer. Right, folks, take care. Thank you to everybody who's subscribed. Thank you to everybody who listens to me ranting and raving about boxing. It's the love of my life. So thank you ever so much for joining me today, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.